Hi guys, not sure if I'm live. I should be. Um, if you're coming along and joining me live, then do let me know if you can see and hear me. So yeah, tonight guys, we are at week 4 in the Finding Your Truth series. So I hope you've been finding the series helpful. It's basically so I can answer any questions you have about your life, what you feel is holding you back. This week, like other weeks, I had a number of people contact me. I had questions from clients and so on. But this week I don't. And I still decided to go live because I feel it's a really important thing to do, to show up when you commit to showing up, number one. But also there is obviously things that I can talk to you about that will hopefully help you in your everyday life. Now, I was just thinking about what I've spoken about already. Last week we spoke about the secrets of being happy, and I spoke about what's involved in past life regression, how it can help you in your current life. A lot of people think past life regression is just something you get done if you have money to spare or something, that it has no real place or doesn't give you any answers in your current life. But absolutely it does, more so than a lot of other therapies, in that it's the repetitive patterns in our life that keep showing up in our current life that no one else seems to be able to make sense of. Our soul patterns, and that's where the past life comes in. But you can listen to that last week's version if you missed it. But this week, I guess I was thinking during the week about what will I talk about tonight, and how would I help you with that. So when I think about over the years, and there's a lot of years that I've worked with clients in different roles, but basically we're all looking to be happy, aren't we, at the end of the day. But I was thinking about that this week, and I was thinking, when have we time to be happy? And I guess I got to thinking about, if you're in a 9-to-5 job, or you're in a corporate role, or you're working for yourself, even more so, you put in loads of hours, more than you would do if you're working for someone else, believe me. But like, we're awake for approximately 12 to 14 hours in every 24-hour day. The rest of the time, hopefully, we sleep well, and that's also a necessary process for our bodies to go through. And I'll talk about that another time. But of the 12 to 14 hours that we're awake during the day, where we can be consciously happy, we work. Mostly, if we have a job, we will be working for at least 8 of those hours. So when you think about that, guys, that's 2/3 of your waking life that you are working. That's a lot. And unless you're doing a job that really speaks to your soul and sets your heart alight, which some of us are lucky enough to have, but not everybody, then that can be a big factor in you not being happy in your life. If your job, if you feel it doesn't fulfill you, if it doesn't sing to you, as in that's what you're here to do. And for years I was in a role like that. Now, initially, the role I was in served me well. It was a means to an end. And I hadn't awakened at that stage. And this is many, many, many moons ago. But I hadn't really, truly awakened at that stage on a spirit level. And so I was very much involved in the 9-to-5 humdrum, routines that we can all fall into. And thinking that, weekend was the time to enjoy yourself. The rest of the time you were busy working. And that was your lot. And that was all there was to life. Thankfully, I've consciously awoken since then and found that there's a lot more to life and enjoying life than that. So once I started, though, down the road of my spiritual path, it became very clear very quickly that the role I was in was that I had outgrown it in so many ways, and it no longer fulfilled me on the deepest level. I don't know that it ever did, really. It was, I had a mortgage, I had to have money to pay my mortgage. It was a very much a third dimensional jobs choice. And it didn't fulfill me. And I knew that I wasn't, that I didn't belong there. And so I started to train in the various therapies that I've now trained in many years. And I opened the first door along my spiritual path. But it wasn't until I got to a point where I absolutely needed to find something. I was searching so hard. I had become disillusioned with my what my family, let's say, subscribed to in their religion and so on. I had become very disillusioned with all that, all the traditional stuff. It didn't feel like me anymore. And so I stopped all of that. But I was searching. I knew I was on a really big search in my life. And that's when I found Reiki. That was my first therapy. And from that doorway on, the doors just kept opening after that. And I willingly walked through them all and started to work part-time as a therapist, as well as keeping the full-time job until such time as I knew I couldn't stand it any longer. And so I took the leap to being full-time and working self-employed for myself as a therapist and a coach. And I've been working in that role, those roles, ever since. So I got great happiness and self-satisfaction and joy in life by working with others. And I don't know if that's something you would like to do, or whatever it is that you know deep down you want to do in your life. It could be voluntary work, it could be, you know, setting up your business to do something totally different, unrelated to what I'm talking about. But whatever it is, if you're putting up with or suffering on in a job that doesn't fulfill you, believe me, I know what that's like. And it can be soul destroying on a big level. But what I will say to you is that we are always exactly where we're meant to be. And I do believe that. I do believe that I wouldn't have been ready until I was ready to actually open the first doorway. And I would have liked to have had the help of a coach then to guide me, because it was quite scary. It was new. It was totally new to my family background, totally new to everybody around me. And I was seen as of someone who'd gone off the rails, basically by my family. And that is very scary. And if you're alone, you know, you're not in a relationship or you've no support, then that can be very frightening. So I wanted to talk to that tonight and get you to ask yourself, if you are in the role that you know you belong in, if in your job you feel great satisfaction, you go home happy that you've helped another, or whatever it is that makes your heart sing, because it's so important for us. We all want to be happy, but we don't realise that 8 out of those 12 waking hours that we have in a day, we spend in a job. And if that job isn't fulfilling us and isn't challenging us and isn't stretching us in our potential, it's actually not helping you. And it certainly won't make you feel like you're happy. So I'm not saying go and change everything in your life, but do examine. And this is the beauty of working with a coach, that you can actually sit down and look at the bigger picture. Look at Hi Fiona, I'm not doing angel readings tonight. Sorry, it's this is a Finding Your Truth live series that I do every Tuesday. So I'm not doing angel readings tonight, but the next time I'm doing one, certainly I'll include you in that. So do keep an eye on the page for that. But tonight's all about finding your truth and how you can find truth in your life. And so, as I was saying, you know, 2/3 of our waking life we spend in a job. Is your job fulfilling you on the deepest level? And if it isn't, is it time to look at what it is that you want in your life? What is the end goal, guys? What makes you feel like this is what you're here to do? And I urge everyone to follow that urge. I mean, like I said, I followed it and I did it part-time before I went full-time. So that's fine, Fiona, no worries, no sweat. Doing what you're here to do is so important in making you fulfill your potential, in stretching you, in challenging you, in making you feel that, you know, you did something worthwhile today and you've helped somebody. And we can do that in a lot of ways, not just in the way I do it. Like, I was conditioned to get a pensionable, secure job, and that's exactly what I did, because my conditioning in my family was that. But then I always knew I was going to say I didn't belong in the family. I knew there was a special reason I was in my family. I knew I was always different to every single other person in the family, and that I was there for a reason. And I now know very deeply what that is, and I understand why I'm in the family I'm in. But I was conditioned for years to believe that that was the thing to do. You leave school, you go and you get your pensional job, and you're secure, and you have a job for life, and you never have to worry. And I went along with that conditioning until I realised it wasn't making me happy. So what I'm saying to you is, if your job or if what you're doing in your life is not making you happy, it's time to look at what you can do about it. And there are things you can do. There's always ways around finding your truth. And this is why I work with people one-on-one, helping them to find their truth. And it's not about making huge changes in your life, but maybe the changes that you're able to make now and working towards goals that are bigger down the road. But if you never start that process, then you will always be doing the job that doesn't fulfill you and make you happy. But deep down, even though I was conditioned to believe in the pensionable job, I knew deep down who I was meant to be, and I knew what I was meant to be doing. And the minute I started to do it, I knew I'd come home. It was like I had come home. My soul was at peace. This is what I enjoy. This is what I love. This is what fulfills me and challenges me. And every client is different, and there's no two ways about it. You can't coach two different people the same way. It's very much client-driven coaching that I do. So I'm very much about what you're looking for and getting you the results that you are looking for in your life. So you don't have to do one or other role. You can transition. There are ways that you can drift in gently into a new role. But as creatures of routine, sometimes we find change to be very scary. And actually, the more scary it is, the more real it is. And the more real it is, the more, if it makes your heart palpitate, then I would say to you, you really need to give it a second thought, because it's probably a very strong message that, it's the right thing to do. That which frightens us most is often the way to go, because it's speaking to us, it's drawing us in. And actually thinking about doing something different is always far more scary than actually doing it. Once you break something down into steps, then it becomes a lot easier. It becomes a lot more digestible, and it becomes a lot more realistic, and you can actually, you know, work with that and visualize yourself moving forward from that point then. So whether you're unhappy about your job or you're happy about some part of your life that you don't feel fulfilled in, that's why I work with people, basically, to get them, because deep down they know what they want, but they don't know how to get there. So my job is to facilitate you getting there. The alternative to continuing in a job that doesn't fulfill you, or staying in a relationship that isn't right, and you know deep down isn't right, then you know, the longer you will suffer. That's all I will say. But you can only ever move out of a relationship or out of a job that doesn't fulfill you when you're ready, and you can't move before that point. So don't beat yourself up if you are feeling unfulfilled, but ask yourself, what would make you ready to take that step? Maybe it's because you just see it as one big thing and it's too overwhelming when you think about doing it. And that's often the case. And as I said, when you come to a coach and you break it down into exactly what it is and where you are in your current life, in your current job and so on, you know, you can maybe transition and it's not so scary. Or do you want to be the person who grows old and looks back as they glaze out the window in an old folks' home, regretting that you didn't take that chance, regretting that you didn't challenge yourself and make yourself reach your full potential? Or, you know, you already know that you're unhappy, if you are unhappy, but you don't know how to change it. And that's why working with somebody like me can really bring things into clear focus. Or maybe you've loads of ideas, but you don't know how to actually start. Where do you start? You've loads of ideas about things you want to do, but where do you start? So it's, you know, these are all ways that you can work with me. Perhaps you want to explore the spiritual side. Start opening the spiritual doorways in your life. Give yourself a three-dimensional, but just not a three-dimensional energy, but a three-dimensional helicopter view of your life. See all areas of your life, your health, your well-being, you know, your job, your relationship, your space for yourself, your hobbies, look at everything in your life and decide what is it that you have been neglecting maybe, or that's suffering because of something else. These are all things that, you know, people come to me with and that I can help people with. Or maybe you're suffering with low self-esteem and you don't know, you know, you can't find the words to ask, or you can't find the words to speak up for yourself, or to, maybe you don't think you're worth it. Maybe you don't think you're worth more than the job you have, or whatever it may be. Maybe you're putting the limits on yourself. Maybe it's your self-limiting beliefs that are holding you back. And I would just say to you, you know, we can have and do whatever we want. It's about believing in yourself. It's about knowing that you deserve it. It's about having the belief in your own soul that you are here to do wonderful things. You are here to help people, and to help yourself to a fulfilling life. That's what you're here to do, and you're here to learn whatever you need to learn in order to achieve that. Or maybe you have a fear or a phobia that's keeping you stuck and you just can't seem to overcome it, and it's holding you back. Something, if you're unhappy, is blocking you from your truth. And most of the time it's either a fear or a lack of clarity, or you really don't feel you're worthy of it. And they're all things that people repeatedly say to me. You know, I just think that's other people. So other people are meant to be happy. Other people are famous and they have brilliant lives, but I'm just a normal humdrum existence. That's, you know, that's all I have, and like that's all I'm nearly entitled to. But that's not true. I nearly said something terrible there, but it's not true, guys. You are worthy of being the wonderful soul that you are, and you are worthy of having whatever it is that you know will make you happier. You know, it's not that you're not happy, but what would make you happier in your life? What would make you want to jump out of bed in the morning when you get up? What makes you really feel like you're doing something that's making a difference in your life and in everyone's life around you? What will your legacy be when people talk about you when you pass in the future, like me? What do you want your legacy to be? What will they remember you for? These are all things that we all need to think about, because life is over far, far too quick. And it's about knowing that you deserve to have the life that you want. And it's possible. It's possible. Do you want to be in the home telling everybody when you're 80 about all the wonderful adventures you had in your life and all the stones you didn't leave unturned, that you unturned every single one of them, that you had the confidence and the self-belief and the self-worth to go and travel the world, or to have the amazing relationship with your husband, or to have a wonderful job that you really set your heart alight, and all the things that you've done in your life? Will you be full of stories like that, or will you be full of regret? And or will you be saying you were so glad you got the guidance and help that you needed when you needed it, that you weren't afraid to step up and say, you know what, I need a bit of help here, guys, and it's okay that I need help, because do you know what? Everybody needs help at some stage. And I don't know why my camera's got out of focus, but it has. Normally it comes back when I move, but it's not coming back. So anyway, so do you want to be that person, or do you want to take focused action towards and achieve your goals in life? Or do you want to live with regret for the rest of your life? You know, we think we're going to live forever. We think, we're going to be able to do everything forever. We're not. And it's about recognizing that and living life to the full, and knowing that you have the right to do that. You've got to be free, guys, to be 100% yourself. Because the truth is, you think, everyone else, we fill our minds with judgments that we perceive others have of us. But actually, the truth is, the worst judge, I'm just trying to see if I can get the camera to shift. The worst judge we have in life is ourselves. Our own self-judgment. And we think other people spend their lives looking at us and thinking this and thinking that and saying this and saying that, but actually they're not. They're too busy getting on with their lives. And the truth is, if everybody just got on with what they want to do in their life, forget about what anybody else is doing. Just focus on achieving your goals, and don't let your limiting beliefs or your playing small is another thing people do. We play small because We don't want to stand out. We don't want to be seen as, you know, somebody who's, you know, I don't know, whatever perception we have about, you know, others will judge us harshly if we go out and open our own business. They'll say, who is she to open her own business? You know, I mean, the truth is, nobody out there is saying that. The truth is, we are the worst critics of ourselves. So I said in the introduction to this video that I would be making 2 announcements. And the first one is that I'm now announcing my program that if you want to work with me, if you want to reach your goals, if you want to make lasting change in your life, then working with a coach like me who has a spiritual stroke, personal development background, who has training of over 20 years in many, many therapies and many, many disciplines of coaching, then that's the way forward. And the way to do it is through one of my programs. And you can work with me on a one-off basis, but it's more expensive to do that because I believe in giving people the opportunity to make real and lasting change. So you would have to come to me for one of my programs, which is a 6 weeks or 6 months, whichever suits you more, fits into your schedule. But it's 6 sessions, one-on-one with me online, helping you to achieve your goals, helping you to set the parameters for your goals, to visualize and reach those outcomes in your life. Make them real. Give you the next steps that you can take in order to bring your life into balance, in order for you to wake up every morning and feel like you're on top of the world because you're doing the job you love, or you're making steps towards being in the relationship that you want to be in, or whatever it is that you desire in your life, but you haven't achieved to date. So I call that the Life and Soul program because that's what it is, guys. It's about your life, every area of your life. We'll be looking at all areas of your life, which areas you're happy with, which areas you're not. And we'll be focusing in on the ones you're not and how you want to change that. And I'll be giving you the tips and techniques and working with you through exercises and homework and so on in order for you to make that change possible in your life. And it's called Life and Soul because I don't just work with the personal side of it, the real, you know, the third dimensional side, as in ourselves in this world that we see around us, but I work on a soul level as well, which is a much deeper level, a level that allows you to tune into your heart's desire, what it is you want in your life, in the deepest parts of your soul, and how you can uncover that. And possibly one of those sessions might be a past life regression. Who knows? I do and work with every individual client on a very individual basis. I know what works for them based on how they present to me during each of the sessions. So you have a very trusted, experienced coach to work with on this, and we'll be working on all areas of your life where you're least happy and focus on those. We'll be doing those specific areas in the program. We'll be looking at your limiting beliefs and anything that is blocking you. So we're releasing what's keeping you stuck in your life and defining your life and your soul purpose, and having a strategic plan to attain all of that going forward. So you'll have a really structured plan of where to go from here, and you'll know what it is that you're aiming for in life. And of course that will bring happiness, that will bring joy, and that will give you a focus in your life. So that's the 6-week or 6-month Life and Soul program, and the cost of that program is normally €780 in total for the 6 sessions. Now each session is an hour and a half long, and it's online with me one-to-one. But it's on offer now for the next 4 weeks, I'm making this offer available to people who've been tuned in to Finding Your Truth. You can avail of this 6 sessions with me for the discounted fee of $595. So if you're interested in that, do private message me. I do have a limited number of people that I can work with at any one time. So this discount is available for the next 4 weeks. So it'll be ending at the end of May. So that's the first announcement I have to make. And the second announcement is, if you or anyone you know is starting off as a therapist or a coach or a counsellor or psychotherapist, or working with clients one-on-one, or working in small groups with clients, and they don't have a specific room to work in, I have a purpose-built sacred space that I used to use when I saw clients one-to-one in person. I am now putting that out there for other therapists whom I know, friends of friends, who can rent the space from me for a very, very reasonable rent per hour, or per half day, or per day, or per weekend, whichever suits your particular course or class or whatever it is you're working with people on. So if you are looking for a really beautiful space, and I'll put up pictures of my space so you can see the inside and so on. It is self-contained. It has its own toilet, wash hand basin and so on. It has a kettle and things like that, electrical input, so you can use that for groups or courses at weekends. There are 2 plinths that can be used in the space as well, and there are up to, I think, 6 chairs that are in the space as well, that you can use if you need it, and a whiteboard if you need that. So that's been made available to people who follow me on my page, or who know a therapist who's starting off, or a coach, or somebody who needs a sacred space to work with their clients in. That is a really, really nice space. It's very, very special to me, and so I won't be giving it to just anybody. But if I think that the person and me are on the same wavelength, then of course that can be arranged. So if you're interested in my sacred space for renting for your courses or your therapies, then do contact me, and we can discuss the rental of that and the possibilities of renting that out to you. So that's my that's all I have to say for tonight. If anybody has any questions, I see Fiona Nolan joined earlier there. Would love a reading, please. Guys, I only do readings at the weekends generally. So maybe on a Saturday morning or something, I'd be doing a reading. I am an angel teacher, yes, and I do angel readings for people one-on-one online, privately. But I also do very quick mini readings every now and then, but I don't do them all the time. So every time I'm live online doesn't mean I'm doing a reading. So if you read the description at the top of each of the lives, you'll see what the live is about. So Finding Your Truth is a group that I'm running every week online, and it's until the end of May. So it's an opportunity for you, if you've issues in your life, if you've challenges in your life, and you'd like me to give you my spiritual perspective as a coach, or recommend something to you that may help you to cope with that, then that's what this group is all about, online on a Tuesday at 8 o'clock every week. So if you have any questions, do pop them in Facebook to me, and I will include them in the next live event, which is next Tuesday at 8. So it's no problem, Fiona. I totally get why you asked. It's absolutely fine. But just watch the descriptions on the lives and then you'll know, because I'll put up angel readings and so on. And I will be doing mini angel readings in the future. So it's no problem at all. But if you want to join me every Tuesday for the Finding Your Truth, when I can answer your questions, how you're stuck in your life. So do submit your questions, guys, privately to me. I don't name names. It's not about knowing who asked the question. It's about getting my view, my perspective, my spiritual and experienced coaching perspective on how you might be able to help yourself through any particular issue in your life. This is about me giving free help to those who need it, who may be suffering in silence out there and who are afraid to ask somebody face to face. You can send me your query and I will do my best to give you clear and concise help in the live series every Tuesday. So thanks to those who joined me, even if they thought they were getting an angel reading and they didn't. That's okay, that's fine. But thanks, guys, for joining in, and I hope that something I said tonight may spark your intuition in helping you in your life to get to your goals faster. So thanks again for joining me, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.